I paid for that. You can't just take it.
Relax. I just want to take some pictures.
Acid tubes. Gave me 900 years instead. Come on, man. I'll just get more whale noises, dude.
Okay.
Media discussing true crime has always been a controversial topic, especially with more recent crimes. If you are on social media, don't have Netflix, or you've just been living on a rock, then you should probably know that those clips I just showed you in the beginning, they're from the Netflix series. I've taken several takes of this. I'm just going to keep this take because the title is so gosh dang long. Dahmer, Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story. Why is the title of that show so long? Oh my god. The 10-episode TV series focuses on, you guessed it, Jeffrey Dahmer. And if you don't know who he is, he's an infamous serial killer who killed 17 people from 1978 to 1991 in incredibly gruesome and violent ways. Now, while I haven't seen the show personally, I can say that I've heard that the way they take the seriousness of this case fairly well. However, I have seen the word uncomfortable be thrown around when discussing the show. But if that's the case, then why all of the memes? To answer that question, we're going to need to look back into Jeffrey Dahmer's past crimes. And if you're already familiar with them, and or you're just very uncomfortable by like grossness, I'm not going to get into the details of how gruesome these cases were. But if you don't want to hear that, skip to this time point in the video. I'm doing this for a class, so I have to include this. You're gone? Okay. Let's get on to the murders in the most mature way possible, because it gets dark. The first life Jeffrey Dahmer would ever take was a hitchhiker named Stephen Hicks. Dahmer offered Hicks a beer at his place, and after taking the offer, Hicks decided to leave Dahmer's home, which resulted in Dahmer taking a 10-pound dumbbell and murder his guest. This would be his first murder, and his last, until 8 years later, where he would kill plenty more people. However, Jeffrey would still commit several more crimes of different variety in the upcoming 6 years. During the time before he'd kill again, Jeffrey was forced out of his home by his father to join the military because Jeffrey had dropped out of college due to his alcoholism. This problem of drinking would last through his time in the army as a combat medic, and after being discharged, Jeffrey's father would again send him away to live with his grandmother in West Dallas, Wisconsin. Crimes he'd commit from 1982 to 1986 ranged from indecent exposure to drugging and sexually assaulting men. He would only be arrested for the indecent exposure and never be caught for his other crimes during that period. The reason why Dahmer was able to drug and sexually assault so many men was because he frequented at a gay bathhouse. And in 1987, his second victim would be known to him as Stephen Tuomi. Tuomi's death is quite bizarre from Dahmer's point of view, as according to him, he didn't remember killing Tuomi. He just woke up beside him and saw that he was both heavily beaten up, and dead. This would become the start of Dahmer's more gruesome crimes, as he would not only have murdered his victims after sexually assaulting them, but continue sexual intercourse after murdering them. Charming. In 1990, Jeffrey would get fired from his job due to an accident in where he got caught in drugging and sexually fondling a 13-year-old boy. He would be released early due to a work program and would proceed to commit 4 more murders in that year, 1990, in Milwaukee after moving into an apartment. In 1991, Dahmer would fall in love with this horrible idea. The idea was about turning his victims into, as best summarized by me, zombie sex slaves. The way he would try this, he would try to accomplish this was by drilling holes in their skulls, pouring hot water, and pouring hot water over the brains. There were other methods too. At one point, one of his victims, who was lobotomized by him, was able to escape Jeffrey's apartment and run into the police. Unfortunately, Dahmer was able to catch up with his victim and lied to the police on what was really happening, and the police weren't able to identify Dahmer as a sex offender before he left. So it wouldn't be until near the end of July where Dahmer would finally be put to justice. As Dahmer attempted to lure in his newest victim, Tracy Edwards, caught sign of what was going to happen as Dahmer threatened Edwards with a knife, and Edwards was able to escape and find police. When the police got to Dahmer's apartment, they found evidence of Dahmer's more gruesome crimes, and everything went downhill from that point on for Dahmer. So, yeah. So with everything bad Jeffrey Dahmer did in mind, or hinted at if you skipped to this point of the video, why did all of that happen? Well, as an internet wanderer myself, I can note on one big thing. We often forget or don't realize that what we do on the internet has an effect on others. I don't like sounding like the adult who is constantly reminding you that your actions have consequences, but I'm going to have to do that. The topic surrounding the Dahmer case is sensitive. And sure, you may find Jeffrey Dahmer hot, but not because of... or any role Evan Peters has played as, or himself in general. I don't know. My point is, people are hurt because of what Dahmer did. And bringing up what he did in a joking manner isn't always going to sit well with people. Especially with his victims or the family of his victims. And this doesn't just apply to the Dahmer show, but to every true crime case that has been used in a media platform for entertainment. When hearing about these cases or looking at them, we tend to forget that these cases are real. Jeffrey Dahmer is real. The Zodiac Killer was real. Jack the Ripper was real. And they should be treated as such, as well as the people who were horribly affected by them or anyone like them. Some families have lost sons, daughters, mothers, friends, and anyone close to them because of serial killers. Imagine you lost someone you loved to a serial killer, and although you've moved on, it still hurts you whenever you think on it too much. Then suddenly, a movie or show documenting that serial killer's actions and life comes out and everyone is talking about it. And now, all those painful memories come flooding back in, and you can't really do anything about it because to everyone else, it's just entertainment. That's what I imagine the families of Dahmer's victims felt like when they heard about this Netflix show and see it be talked about everywhere. So, the next time you decide to watch a true crime show, whether it's a podcast or documentary, be considerate. Because something tells me that you wouldn't like it if someone started to casually talk about how the cause of your greatest trauma is their favorite subject. Thank you for watching.